Our guest of honor today is Mr. Kiren Rijiju, Honorable Minister of State for Home Affairs, Government of India. In 2004, he was elected to the 14th Lok Sabha from West Arunachal Pradesh constituency, which is one of the largest in the country. As a member of parliament, Shri Rijiju quickly earned the respect of his more seasoned colleagues by his active participation in parliamentary work, both inside and outside the House. He served on many important committees of parliament in the 14th Lok Sabha. Today, he is widely recognized as the voice of the Northeast. Shri Rijiju was elected to the 16th Lok Sabha on May 16, 2014. In recognition of his work, he was inducted by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi into the Council of Ministers as Minister of State and Ministry of Home Affairs on 26th of May 2014. Shri Kiren Rijiju.
Most Venerable Sitago Sayadaw Dr. Asim Yani Saraji, Param Puja Jagat Guru Sri Sri Nirvalananda Ji, Honorable Governor of Uttar Pradesh Sri Ram Naik Ji, respected members of Mahasangha, venerables of various faiths present here, representatives of the Vivekananda Foundation, Japan Foundation, and the Myanmar Institute of Strategic and International Studies, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm extremely delighted to participate in this conference on conflict avoidance and environment consciousness, which is jointly organized by Vivekananda International Foundation, New Delhi, Sitago International Buddhist Academy, Yangon, and the Japan Foundation in collaboration with Myanmar Institute of Strategic and International Studies. As a follow-up to the previous conferences, that is Hindu-Buddhist Global Initiative for Conflict Avoidance and Environment Consciousness, held in New Delhi in September 2015, and the Symposium on Asian Values and Democracy, held at Tokyo in January 2016, where fortunately I'm privileged to have participated in both the occasions. Today, I am very confident that this conference would further deepen our understanding of shared legacy and different facets of Asian values, and also help in creating alternative strategy to the problems of conflict which threaten the peace and stability in the world. I congratulate the organizers for this extremely important conference, which focuses on environment consciousness and how to expand the same in the world, more and more concerned with self than with the environment. Conflict avoidance is other facet of this conference, which again is an important ingredient for harmonious coexistence of all humankind, especially in the times when individuals and nations are treading on the dangerous lines of insecurity and distrust, with or without apparent cause. I'm also thankful to the government of Myanmar for their wholehearted support in hosting this conference. India-Myanmar relations are rooted in shared historical, ethnic, cultural, and religious ties. As the land of Lord Buddha, India is a country of pilgrimage for the people of Myanmar. India and Myanmar relations have stood the test of time. The geographical proximity of the two countries has helped develop and sustain cordial relations and facilitated people-to-people contact. India and Myanmar share a long land border of over 1600 kilometers and a maritime boundary in the Bay of Bengal. A large population of Indian origin lives in Myanmar. India and Myanmar signed a Treaty of Friendship in 1951. I am confident that such cultural exchanges will further strengthen our bonds. Talking on the issue of environment consciousness, it would not be out of place to see that for the last 2 millennia, human beings never faced a truly serious threat to their existence. However, in the present third millennium, the ever-deepening global environment crisis poses a real threat of human extinction. Many scientists claim that we have entered a new geological epoch called the Anthropocene, which implies a new reality that signifies irreversible changes in the Earth's ecosystem. Together, environmental problems such as the greenhouse effect, marine pollution, and destruction of forests are expanding in scale and growing more in nature. Now, the question is, who is responsible for this state of affairs? There is no doubt that we human beings are responsible for it. Today, it is hard to find a place on earth that remains unaltered by human needs. In the West, the inherited framework for morality is based on individual rights and entitlements that place human interests at the summit of ethical concerns. However, in the Eastern religions, we have much to offer in our quest for answers to the environmental crisis. It is perhaps the Eastern religion that is most associated with ideas of holism and a romantic, pre-modern understanding of nature as a source of spiritual fulfillment. Our ancient traditions do not make the big distinction found in the West between nature and human beings. We do not consider ourselves set apart from nature, but we are part of it. Because humans are tied with nature, damage done upon the earth is also harm done to the humans. In the theory of karma, the effects of our action are in proportion to the greed and hatred which motivated them. As our spoiling of the planet through stripping of its resources and polluting it was motivated by greed, we are now beginning to experience the effect of the greed. The earth, our mother earth, is our mirror. Practice of the first precept requires respect for all sentience, being not merely humans. This also means respect for all animals. Our relationship with the environment goes much deeper. In Buddhism and Hinduism, we have the concept of Pancha Mahabhuta and Chatur Mahabhuta, which are Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, and Prithvi. These are the main elements in the world and everything in the physical creation which are composed of these 5 elements. Any imbalance of these elements leads to problems with individual health as well as health of the entire world and its ecosystem. In Buddhism, wisdom of equality of all the things enables people to understand all phenomena in terms of dependent origination and to embrace all existences as equal in their intrinsic value. Indic culture has its roots in Arana Sanskriti, forest culture. So, ecological integrity in the past was not a problem. It is the bottom line of everything else in the biosphere. We cannot imagine life flowering sustainably on Earth with ongoing ecological disintegration of the biosphere, which is now precipitating into climate change. Climate-related disasters are at an all-time high. Global carbon emissions continue to rise. Mankind is struggling with the moral dilemmas of waste and consumption. If we analyze our lifestyles, we could conclude that our ethical system, which used to help us to be in the state of ecological integrity, in the verge of collapse. For the information of this August gathering, I am personally involved in disaster risk reduction, as United Nations have identified me as the regional champion for Asia and Pacific region to speak and to drive consciousness for disaster risk reduction, and which recently I attended in the World Conference at Cancun in Mexico. We have to decide whether we treat nature as a resource or a set of ecosystem foundation, or as an enemy to be conquered, or a spiritual home in an interconnected world. Population of the world has crossed 7 billion, of which vast numbers are below poverty line. We in the developing world, which have large populations, much of who are below poverty line, are particularly vulnerable to the vagaries of climate change. Erratic rainfall patterns, repeated droughts, rise in temperatures with resultant rise in sea levels, and the impact of all of them on us. In meeting the challenge of elimination of mass poverty, consequences of faulty governance structure and the past chaos is still unfolding. The Earth has already witnessed 5 mass extinctions caused by climate change, intense ice ages, volcanic eruptions, and meteorite hit. At the current rate of species loss, we are on the verge of losing our biodiversity on which we depend for our own survival. We also need to carefully consider in the advance the possible effects of scientific technological innovations on the environment, because many a times even those intended to serve human society and desires can bring about the destruction of nature, leading to hazardous effects. Global warming due to emission of greenhouse gas is such an example. In such cases, we need to design inherent pollution mitigation features. In this regard, it is my fervent hope that the conference will lead us to engaging members of faith based on groups, provide moral authority, and offer ethical guidelines from our religious leadership. Ethics is the soul of human living, and environmental ethics is a part of environmental philosophy. A new paradigm of well-being, connecting individual to social to global responsibility, needs to be framed where human rights are based on rights of nature, and both are in the state of dependent origination. In short, the community needs to be motivated to support sustainability practices. I look forward to the churning of ideas between venerable religious leaders and erudite scholars, and I hope it will result in giving directions to meet this challenge and threatens the existence of our planet. I would once again like to say that it is a privilege for me to be associated with this journey from the very beginning in 2015, and I have always been not only part of Vivekananda International Foundation, but I believe in Vivekananda ideals. So it's a great privilege for me to be part of this great occasion, and it is a deep honor for me to represent India here in this August gathering. I thank everybody once again. Jai Hind.